Hey, bestie. Welcome to the Spoiled Girly Support Group podcast where we talk about how to get that bag while also securing your own bag. I'm your host, Elle, and let's get into it. On today's episode, we are talking about the gender sleep gap and how it affects women and society at large. We are also going to talk about the soft life trend. I really wanted to talk about this because there has been so much soft life slander online, and I will not stand for it. In my humble, spoiled girly opinion and observations, the soft life trend has been so transformative and healing for so many women. And yet, a lot of us feel so embarrassed to say that we are into the soft life or we're interested in content like that, or we try to incorporate softness into our lives. And while the reasons for the criticism are so valid, especially when it comes to the caricature-esque portrayal of the soft life on social media, the roots of the birth of the soft life trend is about this reclamation of women's right to exist as is, of not having to perform, of not having to base your worth on your production, which this model of worthiness has been instilled in us for so long. And that's why we don't feel like we're allowed to rest, or that we're lazy, we're unproductive, and therefore worthless when we do make time for rest. And on top of these social factors, there are all these biological factors as well that keep women from getting the rest that they need. So today we're going to cover all of that and get into the nuance so that we can arm ourselves with the knowledge that would benefit not only ourselves, but also our communities. Now we have a lot to cover, but before we get into it, I need you to hit the like, subscribe, and the notification bell so you never miss a spoiled girly episode. With that being said, let's get into it. We already did a full episode on the feminine restoration and women's rest as revolution, where we introduced the gender sleep gap and the science surrounding it, so watch it if you missed it. But today we're going to focus more on the social aspect of the gender sleep gap, specifically how it relates to the rise of the soft life trend on social media. But as a refresher, it is evident across multiple studies that women are more likely to report poor sleep quality and insomnia symptoms than men, even when total sleep time looks similar on paper. A 2024 paper reviewing gender differences in sleep notes that women are nearly twice as likely to experience insomnia and that competing demands of paid work and unpaid domestic labor restrict women's ability to get adequate sleep. A study of about 3,700 young adults found a significantly higher prevalence of poor sleep quality in females than males. A meta-analysis of 38 studies concluded that insomnia prevalence is significantly higher in women than in men. Popular science roundups also note that while women may sleep slightly longer in minutes, their sleep is more fragmented and lower quality due to hormonal changes and caregiving responsibilities. And this gets worse during your reproductive and caregiving years, especially during pregnancy and postpartum. A 2024 review on sleep in late pregnancy and postpartum found higher rates of sleep disturbance and mood disorders among women before and after childbirth. And survey data from sleep organizations and clinical reviews consistently show higher insomnia rates in women, with gender gaps appearing around puberty and persisting through midlife. In short, the gender sleep gap is absolutely real, and this may be due to women taking on an unfairly larger share of the unpaid domestic labor. A 2024 free time gender gap report shows that women, including those without children, spend significantly more time on unpaid work at home and have less free time than men. A Lancet-linked analysis summarized by Motherly notes that in the US, women spend 4.5 hours per day on unpaid work, versus 2.8 for men, and that more unpaid work is associated with poorer mental health for women. And the mental load that the researchers are describing here includes all the planning, remembering, and worrying that are forms of cognitive and emotional labor that disproportionately falls on women. And it's linked with stress, fatigue, and even chronic health issues. All these paint a picture that women experiencing poorer sleep or more insomnia symptoms is not only due to biological factors, but social ones as well, such as the structural expectations that women are supposed to do more in the home, as well as the unequal share of domestic labor that they do take on because of these expectations. Speaking of sleep quality, let's talk about today's sponsor, Plank Mattress. I have always struggled with back pain and neck pain, and a couple years ago I threw out my back while powerlifting, and I also sprained my neck on a roller coaster ride. And this is a true story. Okay, so I was getting an x-ray because of this roller coaster ride, and the x-ray technician was like,
"Wow, you really do have a long neck."
and I'm like,
Okay, I guess. Like, that's why I'm here.
I cannot do roller coasters or anything that causes my head to go like this because apparently I have an unusually long neck, which I feel like it's a normal neck, but I feel like my neck is just so weak. Like it can't handle this movement. And on top of that, I'm also on my devices a lot, and I really do feel like I'm getting a little bit of tech neck. And tech neck is the upper and back pain caused by this forward head posture, like when you're hunched over your devices like this, and it really hurts at the end of the day. So I've been really mindful of my posture when I'm on my devices, but sleeping on a firm mattress that keeps my spine aligned has worked wonders. So long story short, I have all these issues, and that is why I am so particular with what I sleep on. And I found that firm mattresses work the best for me. I sleep like a log on firm mattresses, and I wake up feeling refreshed, glowing, and thriving. And that's why I'm so happy to partner with Plank for today's video. My Plank mattress keeps my spine aligned, I don't sink in, I feel so supported, and that's why I don't have to toss and turn at night. See how firm this is? Plus, it's flippable, so you can choose between firm or extra firm depending on what your body needs. This thing is so firm, yet so comfortable. It was so easy to order online, super simple to set up, and honestly, it feels like luxury without the luxury price tag. If you're someone who can never find a mattress firm enough, Plank is your answer. Endorsed by the American Chiropractic Association, the ACA, Plank offers ultra-firm flippable mattresses designed to promote a neutral spine position, improving back health and posture. Plus, Plank is designed and assembled in Arizona and ships for free anywhere in the US. I got the Plank Firm Luxe in queen size with the Glaciotex cooling cover. With your Plank mattress, you can get a 120-night sleep trial along with a limited lifetime warranty so you can rest easy. I love my Plank mattress and I think you would too. If you're looking for an ultra firm bed, check out plankmattress.com/manifestl. Use the code manifestl to get 30% off. And after you check out, you can support our channel by mentioning I sent you in their post-purchase survey. Once again, that's plankmattress.com/manifestl and use the code manifestl to get 30% off your order. Now back to the topic. And honestly, I'm just listing all these statistics out. Imagine actually having to live through them.
Imagine how tired we are. Imagine how tired we are.
Now, knowing all of this, it is no wonder that women are gravitating towards the soft life narrative online. The phrase soft life first regained traction in Nigeria around 2021. It was used by women on Twitter and TikTok to describe a lifestyle free from struggle, one that values peace, pleasure, and luxury on one's own terms. So the term soft life wasn't really synonymous with luxury as many of the girlies perceive it today on social media. It really was a reclamation of women's rest, saying that women are allowed to not base their self-worth on their productivity and to keep women from feeling bad that they're not doing the most for everyone else. That was what the original soft life was. It is permission to live gently in a world that hasn't been so gentle to women. But as the term spread across social media, it began to evolve. And honestly, it mutated. We have lost the nuance, we have lost the plot. On TikTok, the soft life became a visual language. A morning routine in your floor-to-ceiling windowed apartment complex overlooking the city, candlelit baths, getting flower deliveries, sipping your coffee in a silk robe in the middle of a workday. And it was all a rejection of hustle culture or grind culture that demanded a lot of women. At its best, most nuanced form, soft life was a rejection of hustle culture and an embrace of feminine restoration so that women can detach their perception of their self-worth from their productivity. It's women refusing to live in survival mode and refusing this notion that rest must be earned through exhaustion. At its worst, though, the algorithm does what it always does. It pushes to everyone the most caricaturized, the most extreme version of whatever concept you're interested in. What started as a reclamation of women's rest turned into this aesthetic that now costs a lot of time, a lot of money, and a lot of privilege to maintain. And because the aesthetic has become so aspirational, a lot of women have felt excluded from the process. A lot of women felt excluded from this reclamation that we all should have been able to do by ourselves. And like I said, we're gonna get into the nuance here, and I really am pro soft life at its best version. Not the characterized, not the aestheticized soft life that requires you to abandon yourself and participate in this one-upping culture of how aesthetic you can be, and knowing that your life doesn't have to be an aesthetic to be consumed by others. So a lot of the girlies feel like, oh, I don't have the aesthetic home, I don't have the empty calendar that a lot of these soft life girlies online have, and maybe it's just not for me. No, The soft life is for everyone, and what the soft life looks like for everyone is also different. As long as your soft life philosophy comes from this understanding that you are worthy of rest and that you don't need to earn your worth through your productivity, you have already cracked the code. Another criticism of the soft life, especially when it comes to dating, because it's like one of the biggest criticism of soft life, is soft life relationships and soft life dating, is this notion that you're going to be completely, fully, emotionally, and economically dependent on another person. But when you get to the core of what the soft life really is, which is knowing that you are worthy of rest and that you don't earn your worth through productivity, and also prioritizing rest and comfort and personal luxury, it just doesn't make sense to completely tether your life to another person and be so helpless. Like, that is the opposite of comfort, of safety, stability, and personal luxury. That is a nightmare waiting to happen. And I do think that thinking about the future and having foresight is a form of self care. Predicting the future and recognizing patterns and acting on your perception of these patterns is self care, because then you keep yourself from being put in certain situations where you would have been stressed. Like, you're avoiding the stress before it even happens. So, for people to co opt the soft life and turn it into this dependence on another person that would lead to economic and emotional insecurity is just so sinister. And we've seen this happen with other concepts that women are also very, very interested in, like feminine energy, the divine feminine, femininity. They have all been co opted into this very sinister pipeline that leaves women with very little agency. So I'm so glad that in the Spoiled Girly support group, like, we are reclaiming all these terms that women have come up with as counter to the negative experiences that we have of life. And it's so sad to see women online feel like it's so embarrassing to participate in these trends that women came up with as responses to their negative experiences of the world around them, like resting in your feminine, the divine feminine, and being feminine as reclamation, and also the soft life. A lot of women now feel like it's so, so embarrassing to participate in those trends because they have been co opted by these very sinister pipelines. And now the general attitudes towards these very girly feminine terms is so, so negative, despite them being so, so helpful and transformative and healing for so, so many women. And I think when we allow these terms to be co-opted into these sinister pipelines, I do think that we are doing ourselves a disservice. So one of our goals in the Spilled Girly support group is to keep reclaiming these terms and get ourselves back to the root of what these terms are. Because I do think that this wholesale disavowal of concepts that women have created as counter to their negative experiences under patriarchy is in itself misogyny. And I believe that this programming to keep women from trusting each other or liking each other or believing each other is nowhere more prevalent than in this notion that nobody wants to be basic. Like, a lot of women don't want to be basic. Like, basic is a bad word. But I firmly believe that whatever is basic, whatever is mainstream, whatever it is that women are flocking to, whether it's a product, a concept, a person, it all points to wisdom. Even though that concept, that object, that person is problematic in itself, in themselves, it still points to wisdom. It points to a need that women have to rectify the situations that they are in. So when I see the soft life trend rise, it points to women wanting a sanctuary from their hard lives. So maybe the soft life, as seen on social media, isn't the answer, but it still points to this problem that we have, that women are needing rest, women are needing restoration, they are needing sleep, they are needing a more supportive society that would allow them an equitable experience of life, which they are not getting right now. The soft life trend was birthed by women who wanted to do something about things that were wrong in their lives. And then that trend grows on social media, evolves and mutates, gets caricaturized, and now everyone knows about it, right? But then there's these sinister people who co opt this huge trend that women are flocking to, thus creating negative press around it, so that women no longer want that one thing that was founded on virtues and concepts that would have been good for them in the first place. This is a pattern that keeps happening over and over again. And I just don't want that to happen again to other concepts that women create as response to their negative experiences living under patriarchy, because we can't be falling for this every single time. Okay, and I want us to point it out whenever it does happen, and we can do an episode on it. Long story short, the gender sleep gap is real and it is due to biological and also social factors. And as a response to this gender sleep gap, women started the soft life trend, which is rooted in women reclaiming rest and restoration and distancing their perception of their self worth from their productivity. But with the rise of the trend on social media, unfortunately, it has been caricaturized and aestheticized to oblivion that it has become inaccessible and also has been co opted into these sinister pipelines that lead women to lose their agency and tether their self worth and their economic independence to other people completely removed from themselves, which is the complete opposite of living a comfortable, safe, stable, and personally luxurious life. So, yeah, I hope this all made sense of all the soft life slander that we have been seeing on social media. And I do think that we all agree on a lot more than we disagree on. And I would love for all of us to support each other in the comments. That's all I have for you today. I just wanted to let you know that you have so much inherent worth and value in a world that is hell bent on devaluing you. And a big thank you to Plank Mattress for sponsoring today's video. I love my Plank mattress and I think you would too. If you're looking for an ultra firm bed, check out plankmattress.com/manifestl or click the link in the description to get 30% off. And don't forget to mention me in the post checkout survey. It really helps out the channel. Now get that bag, bestie. Also, bestie, wake up.